Welcome back, I'm Rob Lang and this is my game Clomper. You live inside a mechanical ladybird called a Clomper, which you can control by laying pipes to power machines with steam. The outside world is a hellscape that you explore from inside the Clomper, picking up resources and completing quests. If that sounds like fun, like and subscribe for more. In this devlog, I get my edge algorithm working and explain why I slammed the brakes on. At the end of last week, I had finished my new adjacency algorithm, but was left with a bug. Edges should be created by getting the vertices in order, like this. However, I wasn't checking the Y coordinate, so some edges were being built with the walls being top to bottom rather than bottom to top. Fixing that turned the algorithm from this to this. You can see the size of the hills are varying now. Let's compare with the simple adjacency algorithm I used before. I've not changed the tiles that are being used, only how wave function collapse is allowed to put them together. And it makes a huge variation with a very small number of tiles. I have a bunch of features that I want to try before moving this code back into the Clomper project. Remember the actual game? Seems like I've been doing the environment for months. Anyway, I decided to choose the most difficult feature, a tile that covers more than one square. All of my tiles have a square base of 200 by 200, and this means that certain smooth shapes are more difficult to do. Oscar Stolberg merges some input tiles together so that he can make long natural shapes, so I gave that a go. Before we look at how that went, let's talk about complexity, time and fun using a graph, because nothing says fun quite like a graph. On the x-axis we have complexity. Down here in low complexity land are simple features and things that Unity does for you, easy stuff. Up here is where you have all the complexity, you're writing lots of code and you're at the edges of what tutorials and others can help you with. Complexity isn't the same as features here. You can have lots of features and content without adding lots of complexity. Everyone has a comfort level when it comes to code complexity. Get outside your comfort level and you may become overwhelmed and give up on your project. I'm comfortable right up here, but as you'll see, that's not my problem. The first thing we're going to plot against complexity is time to get things working, in red. As complexity increases, so does the amount of time it takes to get things working. As you get into high complexity end of the graph, the amount of time needed is large, even for small additions of complexity. If you ever want to finish your game, you need to decide where to stop adding more complexity. So how do you know when to stop? Let's add another line. In blue, we're going to add the fun you get from complexity. Every game will have a different shaped curve, but for many it will look like this. Down here, adding complexity does not take much time, but adds a lot of fun. It's where game jams and a lot of devlogs live. Projects are short, punchy, fun to make, entertaining to watch. If you keep adding complexity, you get more fun, and although you're spending more time, it's still worth it. Then there is a point where adding complexity is burning a lot of time, but not adding as much fun. For your game, you need to decide when the time you're spending isn't adding a lot of fun, and then stop. Come back down the complexity curve to where you were getting a lot of fun for your time. My environment algorithm is complex, and every hour I spend on it, I wonder if it's time to roll back and do something simpler, like Perlin noise as MetaCheck recommended in the comments. Or in this case, just not implement a feature. The code was getting complex. I couldn't see where the fun would be for Clomper, so I stopped and rolled back my source control. A few hours lost, but if I'd carried on, then I would have used many more hours getting it working, without getting much fun. So I started on tile rotation, much easier, and I'll take you through that next week. If you found that useful, hit like and subscribe, and if you have any questions or feedback, please do leave a comment. Until next time, stay safe. Bye bye.